Welcome to Necromunda Battle Report Season 1, Depths of Rothgol. My name is Rick, and this is my first attempt at a narrative Necromunda campaign battle report series. A couple of points of interest. This is a solo campaign. I will be playing it entirely by myself. I will be running the Open High War card pack with no loot cards. There will be 8 gangs as pictured. I haven't completed writing them out yet. They're going to be flavor over function lists. I want to attempt to play with some interesting and fun narrative style compositions. And lastly, just bear with me, this is my first attempt at any of this. Hopefully I can get better and I will get a better phone for better pictures, and I'll become a better narrator if this all works out. A massive hivequake is detected in Rothgol. All communications have been down for 72 hours. Multiple guilds, gangs, agents, and opportunists travel far and wide in search of opportunity, wealth, and power. Season 1, Episode 1 begins with a confrontation between two bitter enemies. High in the ash wastes, pressed against the outer walls of the hive of Rothgol's many structures, both are vying for early entry into Rothgol, securing prime territory and assets. The Alcalde Brotherhood is led by Hodrick the Weary. He carries an auto pistol and chain axe, Cherub Servitor. His skill is Crushing Blow. Deacon Abel carries a stub gun, grenade launcher with frag and crack. He has the skill Unshakable Conviction. Firebrand Artur carries a stub gun, a heavy stubber. He uses the skill Iron Jaw. Brother Kane carries a fire pike. Brother Sinar carries a shotgun with solid scatter and an inferno. Brother Weiss carries a sawed-off shotgun. Lentil, the bone picker, comes in with a reclaimed auto pistol. Perry, as well, with a reclaimed auto pistol. And the final bone picker, Rotini, comes in with a stub gun. Total gang rating of 1,000. The Augury Brethren are led by the demagogue Antigor. He's armed with a chain glaive. He comes with the skill Berserker. He also has Chaos Familiar. The Witch Allseer Dratchdeer comes armed with 2 swords. He comes with a weird power Quickening. He comes with a skill Medicay, and he also has a Chaos Familiar. Jasilex, the Disciple, wields a heavy stubber, and has the skill Overwatch. Yacy, another Disciple, has a Flamer and the skill Infiltrate. Skax and Spiros, both regular cultists, armed with auto guns. Isidore is armed with a solid and scatter shotgun, and Vituro is armed with a sword and auto pistol. Total gang rating of 995. The objective will be Turf War. In the end phase of round 3, and each phase thereafter, if one player has fighters within 8 inches of the center of the battlefield and their opponent does not, then they are the winner. Alternatively, if a player is the only one with fighters still on the battlefield at the beginning of the round, then they are the winner. The setup is going to be using Beatdown with reinforcements. I can't find any reference to the Open Hive War reinforcements, so I'm going to go with random 5 for any time I get this deployment card. The deployment zones are simple. They're 2 by 6 inch squares. There's 3 of them. They run along one side of the board, and the others run adjacent along the other side of the board. Then our Hive War peril is going to be Hive Plague. Both players roll D3 and randomly select this many fighters from their crew, and they start the battle with a flesh wound. For tactics cards, we're going to be doing random 1 per gang. We're going to be using the core gang tactics cards plus the Zone Mortalis cards when we're on Zone Mortalis boards. Augury Brethren drew Blood Debt. Alcalde Brethren drew Last Gasp. The Augury Brethren deploy first, positioning Antigor and their heaviest hitters in the center of their board, ready to move forward with flanking longer range attacks. The Alcalde Brotherhood does a mirror setup with the same exact intent. The Hive Plague causes a flesh wound to Hodrick the Weary, to Brother Sinar, and to Rotini. For the Augury Brethren, Isidore is taking a flesh wound because of the Hive Plague. Priority markers are distributed. The Alcalde Brotherhood will start with priority. They follow the path of the Fanatic. The Augury Brethren are followers of Tzeentch, but this is the first game, so they have not had an opportunity to pray to the Dark Gods yet. Deacon Abel and Brother Sinar group activate, and perform a move, traveling up the ladder on the shipping crate, looking to begin their flanking maneuver. Antigor and Isidore group activate and split up. Antigor travels up the walkway in a move, and Isidore moves underneath. Podrick group activates. Him and Lentil travel up the walkway. Perry moves underneath. With no shooting this turn, the remaining moves will be made in bulk for efficiency. Allseer Dratchdeer casts Quickening and moves up the middle to use Medicae in the end phase. And then we have Skax and Spiros both continuing on the flank to the right side. Last two activations of the turn, we have Brother Kane and Rotini both moving up more or less in the middle, attempting to get in a position to defend. And here's the table at the end of turn 1. Allseer Dratchdeer uses Medicae and resolves the flesh wound on Isidore, bringing him back to full health. For the Alcalde Brotherhood, they attempt to generate Faith Dice and get 0. Alcalde Brotherhood wins priority. Lentil activates, moves up the gantry further, closer to the center of the map. Spiros sees an opportunity for a shot at the Cherub Servitor. He travels up the ladder with his first move, and then fires. He hits twice with a roll of a 6. He manages to wound once. The Cherub Servitor fails its 4+ invulnerable save. An injury dice comes out, and it is a death, or lasting injury. The result is convalescence. Deacon Abel and Brother Sinar group activate. Brother Sinar moves up the gangway to the left, takes a little bit of cover. Deacon Abel, however, is able to get Antigor just within 24 inches. He fires a crack grenade. He does manage to hit on a 3. Antigor's Familiar uses Precognition and manages to dodge the blow. Antigor activates and fearlessly moves directly down the gantry towards the center of the board, prepared to challenge anyone who comes to face him. The Juve Perry activates and moves up the ladder towards the center, attempting to overwhelm and swarm Antigor. On the side of the Augury Brethren, Skax activates, climbs the ladder, mounts the barrel, takes aim at Perry, fires. He hits. He manages to wound. There is no save. The result is a flesh wound. Perry does pass his initiative check to avoid falling. He goes down pinned with that flesh wound. The Bone Picker Rotini activates. He moves to reinforce Brother Kane on the flank. Isidore moves up, takes a position on a barrel, targets Sinar with a solid slug. He shoots and hits. He manages to wound with a 2 because of the previous flesh wound. There's 3 injury dice because of the knockback, and he's taken out on flesh wounds alone. Brother Sinar plays Last Gasp. He loads Inferno rounds. He rolls and hits. He wounds, and Isidore goes down with a serious injury, and he is not caught on fire. Allseer Dratchdeer does not break. Experience is awarded where appropriate from the exchange, and Brother Sinar receives his lasting injury, which is Horrible Scars. Hodrick activates and advances ever so slightly, extremely wary of that Chain Glaive and its versatile trait. He targets the Chaos Familiar, fires, and misses. Dratchdeer passes his maintain control, advances slightly, and gets in position to help Isidore with Medicae in the end phase. Brother Kane on the left flank with his fire pike feels a little out of place. He's attempting to move up behind this large structure, hopefully get himself in position to be effective next turn. We have reached the end phase of turn 2. Neither team can bottle. Isidore stays down seriously injured, although no flesh wounds are taken thanks to the assistance. Alcade Brotherhood generate 2 faith dice. In reinforcements, Augury Brethren, they receive Yacy. The Alcalde Brotherhood receives the remaining gangers Firebrand Artur and Brother Weiss. Brother Weiss gets deployed by the opposing player on the far corner of the board. Yacy is likewise deployed by the opponent as far from conflict as possible. I don't think that flamer is going to get used this game. Firebrand Artur is deployed by the Alcalde Brotherhood in a position to provide immediate support with his heavy stubber, and Alcalde Brotherhood win priority. Lentil activates, moves up, attempts to body block so Antigor can't charge through. He does take a shot with his auto pistol and he misses. Antigor takes the gunfire's invitation. He charges in. He stays about 2 inches away for versatile range. Hits with 4 dice thanks to Berserker. Connects on 3. Wounds 2. That's 4 injury dice. Sends Lentil out of action. Lentil receives the lasting injury of impressive scars. After witnessing Antigor's savagery, Perry becomes broken. He has nowhere to go, so he crawls desperately along the gangway. A little unsure on how to aggress next, Alcalde Brotherhood activates Brother Weiss. He moves up to support. Both gangs wary of the heavy stubber on Overwatch. Yacy activates and moves up in support. Hodrick, feeling a little helpless up against Antigor in that chain lance, he opts to aim and fire his auto pistol, and he unfortunately misses. Spiros advances on the Augury Brethren's right flank. He targets Hodrick the Weary with his autogun. There's a -1 because of cover. He misses. Meanwhile, on the Alcalde Brotherhood's left flank, Rotini doesn't feel like he has a good way up and into the fight, so instead he's gonna cut right towards the center of the board. Drachdir and Isidore activate. They shuffle around to prepare for the end phase and to possibly stay out of line of sight of Deacon Abel's grenade launcher. Deacon Abel activates and doesn't have many good target options. He instead opts to move up to support his leader. Skax advances further up the flank. Targets a bit of a pot shot at Firebrand Artur, -2, so needs a 6 to hit and misses. Firebrand Artur activates and he can see the heads of both Spiros and Skax, so he attempts to shoot them. He needs a 5 to hit with his heavy stubber after the modifiers, and he misses. Brother Kane activates and attempts a cheeky flank using the Article of Faith, and without thought, he smoked them down. He actually fails it, so now he hits on a -2 the rest of the game. Doesn't matter, he's using a fire pike, so he uses his first movement to climb. His second movement is to target Skax and Spiros. Spiros takes a wound, fails the cover armor save, goes down with a serious injury, and avoids the blaze condition. Skax is wounded, passes the armor save from cover, and is affected by blaze. Skax fails a nerve check and becomes broken. End phase of turn 3, neither team can bottle. Isidore remains down even with assistance. Skax rallies with Spiros' assistance, but Skax himself is still ablaze. Perry rallies himself. The Augury Brethren get one reserve, Vittorio, who is deployed by the Augury Brethren aggressively up the right flank. At the end of turn 3, the objective is still hotly contested. Priority rolls go out for turn 4, and the Augury Brethren take it. Antigor activates. Originally, he was going to charge Brother Kane, but after looking at it, I didn't feel like he could stop on the ladder or could move past Brother Kane on the ladder. With little options, Antigor charges into Perry. He hits 4 times with his chain glaive, and he wounds all 4 times as well. I didn't even need to roll out the second set of 4 injury dice. He is out of action. Lasting injury result is out cold. Brother Kane activates, moves, targets Antigor, fires his fire pike. Antigor's familiar uses Omen of Fortune. Antigor passes his willpower check and dodges it. Spiros activates, stands up. Firebrand Artur interrupts him with an Overwatch skill. He targets Spiros, needing a 5 to hit with modifiers. The shots miss. Spiros uses his second activation to target Brother Kane, just in close range, needing 3+ hit, and he misses as well. Sensing it might be now or never against Antigor, Hodrick group activates with Deacon Abel. Deacon Abel targets Antigor with his crack grenade launcher, and he misses. Hodrick charges with 1 auto pistol sidearm attack, 2 chain axe attacks, and 1 chain axe attack with crushing blow assigned to it. 1 chain axe attack and 1 crushing blow chain axe attack land. Both wound. No saves are to be made. That's 2 injury dice and 1 wound that come out. Flesh wound and a serious injury take place. Hodrick performs a coup de grace on Antigor, and Hodrick consolidates forward. Blood Debt is played on Hodrick, giving a +1 to hit on him moving forward. Anticor's lasting injury is a 41 Old Battle Wound. Augury Brethren now feeling the momentum shift with the loss of Antigor. Vittorio is going to activate. He flanks slightly. He targets Brother Kane. He manages to hit twice. He wounds once. The result is a flesh wound, and Brother Kane passes an initiative attack chest and doesn't fall. Brother Weiss activates, moves, attempting to get involved. The champion Yacy activates, moves up the ladder, stops by Skax, attempting to box him in to help maybe put him out. Rotini activates, advances to catch Dratchdir's Familiar in the open. He fires his stub gun, he hits, he manages to wound. Familiar fails its preconditions save, it goes down with a serious injury, and it does not fall. Dratchdir activates and fails a very important maintain control test that would have maybe allowed him a charge. Instead, he has to kind of hunker down where he is, being the last Augury Brethren in range of the objective. Skax activates, is immediately wounded by the Blaze condition on a 5, goes down with a serious injury, and even with an assist, he still can't get the flames to go out on a 2. Isidore crawls backwards, attempting to avoid a charge. End phase turn 4. Both gangs have at least one fighter within 8 inches of the objective. Both gangs pass their bottle checks. Isidore finally recovers with a flesh rune thanks to Drashtir's assistance. With an assist from Yacy, Skax recovers with a flesh wound while still ablaze. The Alcalde Brotherhood generates 4 faith dice. The last reinforcement, Disciple Jasilix, arrives with her heavy stubber, and she's deployed by the opposing gang in the farthest corner. Roll for turn 5 priority, and the Augury Brethren get it. Yacy and Spiros group activate. Spiros retreats to assist in the end phase. Yacy fires her flamer. She fails to wound, she fails to blaze, and he passes his initiative check, so quite a useless attack. Brother Abel activates, moves and positions himself carefully for a clear shot at Dratchdir's Familiar, hoping to pressure the only currently scoring fighter. Brother Abel loads a frag grenade. He needs a 3+ hit. He lands it. Both Dratchdir and his Familiar are knocked back. Dratchdir uses his once per turn power, Omen of Fortune, willpower check. He passes it with an 11. He stays standing unaffected. His Familiar passes his precondition save, but he goes down pinned. Dratchdir activates, attempts to charge Rotini, rolls a 1, checks up short. His Familiar stands, moves in front to body block. Brother Kane activates, targets Yacy, fires the flame pike, hits and wounds, does not catch on fire, so Yacy goes down pinned with a wound but not blazed. Vittorio activates, moves up, targets Brother Kane with his auto pistol, fires, hits once, doesn't wound, but Brother Kane does fall. That fall causes a wound and it results in a flesh wound. Alcalde Brotherhood attempting to swarm Dratchdir. Brother Weiss moves up, targets the Familiar with his sawed-off shotgun, and he misses. Jasilix activates, she moves, attempting to get somewhere into the fight. Firebrand Artur grows weary of his Overwatch position. He moves up to another level of the platform. Skax activates, is immediately wounded by Blaze, takes another flesh wound, stands up, runs in the barrels, falls back down, and still can't put the flames out even with no assistance. Hodrick activates, uses the Article of Faith, and he stood defiant upon the mountain. Then he moves, targets the Familiar, hits, and fails to wound with anything but a 1. Isidore activates, stands, loads solid slugs into his shotgun, targets Deacon Abel, misses unfortunately, needing a 6 to hit with all the cover. Rotini activates and wildly throws himself into the Chaos Familiar. He misses on both of his attacks, needing 5s to hit. The Chaos Familiar strikes back, needing 4s, hits on a 6, needs 5s to wound, he wounds on a 5, and the result is a serious injury, so Rotini goes down with a serious injury. No coup de grace because reaction attack. End phase turn 5. Both gangs have at least one fighter within 8 inches of the objective. Both gangs pass their bottle tests. The Brotherhood generates 3 faith dice, bringing them to a total of 4. The only seriously injured fighter is Rotini, and he recovers taking a flesh wound, leaving him down to toughness 1. There are no rally tests to be made. With that, turn 5 ends. Roll 5 priority is a tie, and the Alcalde Brotherhood takes it. Firebrand Artur activates, targets Allseer Dratchdir, passes a cool check to ignore the Familiar, rolls to hit, hits on a 5 with 3 attacks. Allseer Dratchdir uses Omen of Fortune, which he fails on a cool check of a 6. 2 out of the 3 hits wound. The result is 1 wound and 1 flesh wound, and all Seer Drashtier is pinned. Augury Brethren, feeling the game slip away, getting desperate. Spiros activates, he moves up the walkway, he targets Hodrick, he manages to get a hit with 2 shots on the roll of a 5, he wounds with 2 6s. The result is actually a wound, and also Hodrick goes down with a serious injury. Hodrick does pass the initiative test and does not fall. Deacon Abel spies out Vittorio on his left flank, uses his first activation to move forward, second activation to fire. He hits with a 5, he wounds on a 2, that's 2 injury dice. The result is double flesh wound. Vittorio goes down with 1 toughness. All Seer Drashtier activates, he stands and moves to a position of cover while his familiar charges into Rotini. The familiar slams into Rotini, hitting 2 hits on a 5 and a 6, wounding both times on a 2 and a 3, causing a serious injury and a flesh wound. Rotini goes out of action. The result is out cold. Brother Weiss activates, advances, targets Isidore. He fires his sawn-off shotgun. He hits on a 6. He gets 5 scatter shot. He only wounds on 1 out of those 5, and the result is, predictably, a flesh wound. Isidore activates and retaliates against Brother Weiss. He stands up, he fires a solid shot, he manages to hit with a 4, and he manages to wound as well. There's 2 injury dice, the result is a serious injury and a flesh wound. Hodrick activates, crawls backwards out of the line of fire. Jasilix activates and performs a move up to the first level of a platform, attempting to get that heavy stubber into action. Brother Kane activates, stand, pivots, targets Vittorio, fires his fire pike, he wounds on a 5, the cover save fails of a 4, the result is a lasting injury, and it is enfeebled. Yacy activates, she abandons Skax as he's still ablaze and down to toughness 1. She advances into a position of cover, ready to challenge Brother Kane on a Flamer one-on-one battle. Skax activates, the flames finally take him out of his misery. His lasting injury is convalescence. End phase, turn 6. Both gangs have at least 1 fighter within 8 inches of the objective. The Alcalde Brotherhood bottles. The Augury Brethren pass their bottle check. Hodrick passes his cool check and spreads it to the remaining Alcalde fighters. No faith dice are generated. Brother Weiss stays down, receiving another flesh wound. With the assist from Deacon Abel, Hodrick recovers with a flesh wound, leaving him at toughness 1. With that, turn 6 ends. Roll for priority, turn 7, the Augury Brethren take priority. Yacy activates, moves in a position to attack Brother Kane, fires her flamer, needs anything but a 1 wound, of course rolls a 1, and also fails to blaze. Brother Abel activates and pivots in place, intent on aiming and firing on Jasilix. Jasilix uses Overwatch, interrupting Abel's action. She fires her heavy stubber, needing 5s to hit and misses. Brother Abel's proceeds to aim. He fires, hits Jasilix using a crack grenade. The wound roll is good. Jasilix takes 1 wound. The injury dice comes out, and it's a flesh wound, and she goes down pinned. Firebrand Artar pivots, targets Yacy. He fires, he hits with 4 shots. He wounds on 2 of those shots. The result is a serious injury and a flesh wound. Yacy goes down, and she doesn't fall. Firebrand Artar fails his ammo check, and his gun is out. Spiros activates, moves, attempts to fire at Brother Abel, and misses. Brother Kane activates, stands, targets Yacy. He hits, he wounds. The ammo check is good. The result is, of course, a flesh wound, and he actually sets her on fire. She is effectively out of this fight. Desperate to turn the tide, All Seer Drashtier charges into Brother Kane. He needed a 3 on a D3 to get it. He rolls 3 attack dice, he hits on 4s, and he misses them all. Brother Kane turns the face. With all his penalties and the -2 from failing the Article of Faith, he now needs a 6 followed by a 6 hit, which he actually gets. The Familiar is out of range for using Omen of Fortune. The wound roll is good, and of course the injury result dice is another flesh wound. The Familiar now moves up, getting back in range. I should have moved him first. Lesson learned. Hodrick activates, stands, pivots, targets the Familiar with his auto pistol, misses. Isidore activates. He's in a bad position and really low on toughness. He's going to retreat and attempt to assist Jasilix in the end phase. Weiss activates, crawls, desperate for assist that's not to be. He'll end up perishing in the end phase. End phase, turn 7. I want to note right now that there are 7 fighters on the board that are down to just toughness of 1. It's pretty wild. Both the gangs have at least 1 fighter within 8 inches of the objective. The Alcalde Brotherhood generate 1 faith dice. The Augury Brethren pass their bottle check. Hodrick barely passes his cool check and he spreads it around to the remaining gangers. Yacy succumbs to her injuries. Her lasting injury roll is Convalescence. Brother Weiss as well goes out of action. His lasting injury roll is Impressive Scars. With that, turn 7 is in the books. The game hangs on a knife's edge. Neither team is willing to voluntarily bottle, as victory feels very close by. Priority rules go out and the Alcalde Brotherhood take it. Hodrick and Abel group activate. Hodrick moves up, attempts to target Spiros with his auto pistol. He's got a -2 to hit, so he needs a 6. He misses. He needs an ammo check, which he passes. Abel then activates. He takes an aim. He now needs a 4 up to hit, and he rolls a 3. So he misses as well. Jasilix and Isidore group activate and advance up the walkway, attempting to support Spiros. Firebrand Artur attempts twice to unjam and reload his heavy stubber, and he fails both times. Dratchtir activates, fights Kane with his 2 swords. He rolls 2 dice to hit, hits once, wounds on 2+, wounds with a 2. The result is a serious injury. So Kane goes down, and the coup de grace is performed. And the insanely lucky lasting injury dice continue. This one ends up being lesson learned, and Kane gets 2 experience. Spiros activates, takes aim at Hodrick, rolls and misses. That could have been big. End phase turn 8. What a slugfest. Both gangs have at least 1 fighter within 8 inches of the objective. The Alcalde Brotherhood generate 2 faith dice. The Augury Brethren pass their bottle check again. Hodrick easily passes his cool check, spreads it around to the remaining members, and there are no recovery or rally tests to perform. Turn 8 ends. Priority roll for turn 9. The Alcalde Brotherhood takes it, and this could be everything. Hodrick activates and uses the Article Faith, and without thought, he smote them down. This gives him a free charge action at the cost of -2 to hit if the check is passed. 4 faith dice are used for the test of a 6+, and it's easily passed with a 16. Hodrick rolls a 1 on his D3 for his free charge and checks up a few inches from Spiros, then he proceeds to actually charge Spiros. Hodrick rolls 1 auto pistol dice, 2 chain axe dice, and 1 chain axe dice with crushing blow. 1 chain axe dice and 1 crushing blow dice connect. Both of those wound, 3 injury dice come out, and Spiros' soul is banished to the Shadow Realm. Hodrick consolidates to cover. The lasting injury on Spiros is partially deafened. Isidore is forced to take a nerve test, and he fails it and breaks. He runs 4 inches and stops down by Jasilix. Jasilix targets Hodrick. She misses. An ammo check comes up. The ammo check is failed. Gun is dry. Firebrand Artur ditches his heavy stubber, moves forward with his stub gun, targets Allseer Dratchtir. He does hit. Dratchtir uses his once per turn Omen of Fortune, and the shot is dodged. Dratchtir activates, charges Firebrand Artur. 3 dice to attack with. He only hits on 1 and it fails to wound. Reactionary attacks from Artur. 1 hits, but it also fails to wound on a 1. Deacon Abel is the last activation of the turn. He pivots, aims, and fires his grenade launcher with crack grenades at Dratchtir. He hits, he wounds, and Dratchtir is taken out of action. The lasting injury is an eye injury. End phase turn 9. The Augury Brethren have been driven back from the control access terminal and no longer have a unit within 8 inches. The remaining fighters, battered and bruised, slink away back into the wastes. The Alcalde Brotherhood wastes no time overriding the safety controls and forcing open a nearby emergency escape system. These are the first souls to enter Rothgol since its collapse earlier this week. Or are they? The Alcalde Brotherhood gain 1 reputation. The Alcalde Brotherhood gain 100 credits. The Augury Brethren gain 30 credits. Hodrick visits the local impromptu trading post and purchases 3 suits of mesh armor for himself and his deacons. MVP of the match is Hodrick the Wary himself for boldly leading from the front, taking out Antigor in single combat, and Spiros as well. And maybe even more importantly, for passing all those cool checks after they bottled, keeping his entire gang in the fight the whole time. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Please like, subscribe for new episodes. Hop down in the comments section. Tell me what your favorite moments of the match were. Any critiques, criticism is welcome. If I get anything wrong, please feel free to let me know. Other than that, I hope you guys liked it.